So I'm here at my local outdoor range, Gator Bowman, and I'm going to shoot a 50-meter scoring round for the first time. And it's actually the first time I've actually shot a full score and actually am going to write it down. And I'm doing this because on this weekend there is a tournament at Easton Newberry Sports Complex. It's called the Spider Cup, and my wife and I are going to be shooting it. We're hoping it doesn't rain. It's going to be like 70 and potentially rainy, which isn't very good for us, at least Floridians. So yeah, I'm going to get shooting. I have a camera downrange, and I'm going to film the whole time and show you every shot. So I'm going to get warmed up. I have not shot at all yet. I've done some warm-up. And I didn't realize I should bring a target face because the one that's down there is rather torn up and has a patch on it as it is. And it's pretty ugly. So it's going to be just like my 20-yard first scoring round where who knows what the actual score is, but it'll give me a baseline to work with. Definitely a lot harder to aim higher here because at home I'm so used to aiming downhill. So far what I've had to do, I've had to take a couple clicks off my plunger because at the house where I shoot, my house, the ground slopes that way, so you tend to cant a little bit that way, hit a little bit right that way. So here I'm hitting a little left, so I had to back a couple clicks off, 2 clicks. And it looks to be close. Maybe I'll take another one off. Next end I'm going to shoot one more practice end and then get to score. And I've also noticed I had to go up 1/8 to 1/4 of a mark on my Yoast to compensate for the angle change up and down. So I'm gonna go get them and do another end of practice. So what I remembered to do with my bow hand that I forgot about during the video where I was shooting with Heather, I don't know, a few times ago, and we were working on form with her, and I said I forgot something with my bow hand. I remembered that I'm using my entire hand to push towards where I want the arrow to go when I shoot barebow. As opposed to recurve, I try to focus on just the pressure point. The reason I have to do that is because my grip sear throws it off, and if I just focus on the whole hand, I find the bow jumps a lot more consistent and my groups are more consistent as well. If you haven't seen that video where Heather and I are shooting and she's working on some form, I'll put links in the description below, plus a card at the top up there in case you want to check it out. So I'll get these, and next one will be for score. Okay, first one for score. Again, this is at 50 meters, standard world archery distance. I shot it with my rangefinder, so it's plus or minus a half a meter basically. So it's really close. All right, I should quit. I should quit while I'm ahead. That one, the bow just kind of popped left on the release, so I knew it was heading to the left, and that's why I kind of gave it a little bit of English to the right, but not enough. Still an 8. Just hanging low on those 3. So looks like a 53. Yep, 53 to start. So that one was a 53 or a 54, depending on how you would score it, because the target face that I can see from this angle is away from the butt, and the arrow is touching the 9 ring on the face. That's an actual target face. So. Where it was in the yellow behind there was a 9. 53, we'll call, even though it might have been a 54. It's like a 50 or 51. Again, the patch on the target is actually way smaller. If you look at the rings where the 8 rings are, where they're supposed to intersect on the points, it shrunk a lot. I think that one high one that's an 8 on the stick on, I think it's an actual 9 down there. But either way, I think it's like a 50 or a 51. Yeah, it's definitely a 9. It's like inside the 9 ring.
That's a 9.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I haven't added grip tape on my grip yet.
because it hasn't been quite hot enough to make me sweat yet, but it is today. It's supposed to be a high of around 90, so it's enough to where I need to put the skateboard decking tape back on. I'm so glad we're at 50 meters and not 70, because when they're not good, they don't go that far away. It's either a 55 or a 54, so even with a really horrendous mistake that I just kind of lost my train of thought a little bit while at full draw. You know, this whole barebow thing's still new to me, but like I said, 50 meters, when you make a mistake, the arrows do not go nearly as far away as if 70 meters. Like that would have been probably a 4 at 70 meters, maybe a 5, if it was with recurve and that kind of execution. It's just, you get away with so much with a closer target like this. Get up. All right. Hand slipped a lot on that one, but the grip sear dropped right at the wrong time, and yeah. All right, so 53-ish. Yeah, 53. 2 more ends left. It's the first time it's been warm enough to sweat, so the hand slipping on the grip is a bit of a problem. Thought that one was going right, but I guess not. Not bad, minus that one. Can I just say barebow on the 7? Because I don't know. All right, last end for score here. So far, I've got 53, 51, 55, 54, and the last one was a 55. So not too bad actually. A little slow to start. Just having to deal with the slipperiness on the grip is a bit of a challenge at the moment, but it's all right. If you figure out struggling like that, trying to push through it and make the best of it, oftentimes will highlight things that aren't going well that you need to work on anyway. So I always welcome a challenge. That one's definitely a 9, even though it shows 8 on the target face. It's pulled away so much, but that's no way that would not be a 9. That's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a 55 to finish. So I shot that's a 323 for my first ever score at 50 meters that I've actually scored. Not too bad, a little slow to start, couple hiccups here or there. Definitely struggling with the hand slipping on the grip. It's enough to annoy me, especially because, you know, I'm using that grip sear, and it just kind of adds a whole level of complexity when everything's slipping and sliding and moving. Even if it's a teeny tiny little bit, it's enough to be a problem. So I'm definitely going to be putting some skateboard decking tape on my grip. That's always my go-to choice, or like 80 grit sandpaper, somewhere in that range, maybe 60, because it's definitely not a 36. It might be a little more coarse than an 80. And I usually just super glue them right down in place because they typically tend to move a little bit, and I cut a small little oval, not a huge pad, so just enough where I feel the pressure point on the grip. But otherwise, I mean, I'm really happy with that score. It's a little tricky here in these conditions. There is no wind, so that's not the conditions I'm talking about. There was a breeze on that last one, which felt nice, but the shadows constantly changing on the target are difficult to deal with because it actually does affect your impact point slightly, because it actually changes where you perceive where the target or objects are in space. And same thing with the arrow and the string and all that. It's a little challenging to deal with, but that's part of doing this type of shooting out here. Unofficial, for fun, and just having an overall good time. So if you're local in the area, you should definitely sign up for the Spider Cup. I should have this video up before then. I think they take day of registrations if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, yeah, this concludes my first scoring round at 50 meters. Hey, thanks for watching. If you like this video, consider hitting the subscription button and the notification bell, as well as the like button. I would appreciate it. Also, please consider supporting my channel if you head to my website, jakekaminski.com. There'll be info and links on Patreon, apparel, books, and equipment sales, PayPal donate button, a P.O. box to send things to, and above all else, please share this video because there's no better advertising than word of mouth.